traders? What up, investors? Thank you for stopping by for another fantastic video. We're going to be looking at some commentary from Ark Investment, aka Cathie Wood, and her team on some stocks that were very notable moves up this week. Again, the market was a little, with the inauguration, everything went up for the bulls. So the bulls are happy today. The bears are hiding in their cave somewhere around here. I haven't seen them yet. So once the bears do pop out back on my screens or somewhere in my office here, I'll let you know so I know when the bear market is coming. Just joking aside. So again, quick two things. Again, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear these promotions. First, Amazon books down below. Definitely check those out. Those are the books that I'm reading about charts, investing, anything with business related, and a lot of just fun stuff. I'm very interested in a lot of different sections within the business community. Second is going to be the affiliate link for Tastyworks. So Tastyworks is what I use for trading, and that is the platform that I use for trading options, stock, and everything else in futures. If you're interested in that and opening an account of $2,000 or more, you have an opportunity to select 10 options or 100, like 101 Dalmatians, 100 shares of stock. So up to like $600, $700 value. That being said, again, affiliate links down below and does support the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Check on the Patreon page and the YouTube membership tab as well, and yes, and the free Discord link. All right, let's go to business. So let's jumping into this right here real fast here. Jumping into this Cathie Wood here. They're going to be talking about INU. We're going to be talking about XONE, Netflix, API, and then Base and Yakong. These are both, one's a Japanese, one's a Chinese-based company, which again, they're not publicly traded here on our NASDAQs, but they do give it a comparison on the reason why it jumped up and so forth. And then last but not least, PLTR, Palantir, that thing has jumped up fantastic this week. So let's just go ahead and swing these to the side. So what we're going to be jumping into is the very first one. So that's NIU. Okay, ticker symbol NIU. You've seen this one. This is NIU Technologies. This is the scooter company that's like the market leader in China. It's literally the new way of transportation. If you need to travel a mile or two, electric scooters are the way to go, with their price cost literally being $1,000 a couple of years ago, and now it's within $100 to $200 for a scooter that can go 15 miles per hour on, depending on how heavy you are, probably like 10 miles per hour for my fat butt. But with that potential of just driving the short-term commuting around that. So with that being said, Cathie Wood and Ark's investment comments were closing up nearly 16% on Tuesday, perhaps in a response to a report that the electric scooter company or the motorcycle published a research and markets listing last Friday that they raised their price target for NIU. NIU is the leader of electric scooters in China. Looking at the chart, you can see it has, again, this is the Tuesday here. You've seen that huge jump up higher. It still continued above that. It broke past that 618 from the previous swing high to low here in the chart here. It wasn't a squeeze. It has fired long here. A little bit of issues here around the $47 to $48 in the short term, since we've made such a very large move higher here, and it has been holding the 5 and 8 moving averages. Potentially, if the market does want to cool off here a little bit, we could kind of hold around that $45 to $44 price target. If a pullback would be completely normal, even to 42 to even 40. Substantial further pullback would be even somewhat healthy as well, back down to 37. The thing we don't want to see is a break below that 37 to even to that 37 to 35 would be that initial stronger support, but if these smaller pullbacks to 40 would be just fine. Again, with that momentum, we are seeing very high levels of RSI. The only thing is we are seeing a little bit of dying in volume coming in here, with the volumes on oscillator kind of just bouncing above zero. So if that stays above zero, we'll just be fine and dandy. If we start getting a little bit more negative on the volumes on oscillator, that's when we could be potentially looking for a pullback to that $40 to $37 range. So interesting one on that. Next one is XONE, which is just simple ticker symbol XONE. And this one is from Ark Investment as well. They said closed up nearly 21% on Tuesday, and nearly 18% the following day on Wednesday, after a coverage of a buy rating stating that the report that XONE is well positioned to benefit from increased adoption of 3D printing technologies and the industrial end part of production. Of course, you've seen NNDM, you've seen desktop metals, you've seen all these very aggressive moves within the 3D printing space. I'm old enough to remember the 3D printers back in the day when they made the little trinkets and stuff like that, and everyone was kind of going really hype about this. These are the commercial industrial ones now. These are not just making those little trinkets of my my little 3D printed little Wally here. It's I'm maybe blow that up here. My little Wally here, of course, Wally, greatest character ever. Anyways, these are making massive, like, again, we covered NNDM multiple times. They're using their technology to print circuit boards. People are literally building homes out of 3D printed bricks, and it's just absolutely insane. And it's literally, I hate using that word, but I always do, of the future of really just moving things forward and just really, again, propelling us to a better being. With that being said, these have moved quite a bit here. We've seen this move back in the August timeframe here, and we had multiple moves higher, hitting high levels of the RSI and volumes on oscillator, somewhat kind of the same function that we're seeing here. From that swing high to low here, we are breaking through that $20 target that we had initially. This could run if the momentum continues. Again, we saw 2 days of 20% and then another day of 18% this week here, falling into X1 here, with this day continue riding up here, potentially looking for some overhead resistance around $25.13. Again, that's not a scientific fact. That's just more of an artsy fartsy kind of thing, where we could easily run to 26 to even 28. Again, if this really thing wants to run, we can run to $30. Who knows? Again, I don't have a crystal ball. We're just looking at the sense of the technical analysis that I use with the technical trading of Fibonacci's, charts, and other various indicators here. With that being said, we are somewhat elevated here. Volume is kind of not as dying off as like we looked at with NIU, the scooter company. This thing still could potentially go, but again, if the tide in the market wants to take profits and things like that, this is something that could come back again. Some short-term support could be around $20.50. Substantial support would be coming back into around $16 to $17 in that range, with stronger support potentially even back down to $14. So with this movement, again, this stock was $3 a couple months ago, so be very much entailed on that. Looking here on the weekly side, look at this huge explosion here. Again, this thing definitely could continue to run here. We're looking for $25 for some potential targets. But again, longer dated targets, if this trend wants to continue, can go all the way up to $38. Okay, so yeah. Wow, right? All right, next one up is the old Netflix. Yeah, what a mover Netflix. So Netflix jumped 16% on Wednesday after reporting better than expected fourth quarter subscription growth, announcing it's no longer will be needing external financing for day-to-day operations. Netflix added 8.5 million new subscribers in the quarter, increasing its global base of paid members to more than 203 million paid subscribers. With the forecast breaking even cash flow with year-to-year end, Netflix should lay to rest the bear case around unsuitable debt load. So the thing about Netflix, of course, was they can't make new content because of the virus. They're lockdown things on sets and things like that. And then, of course, just they had a lot of debt on hand. So with this no longer needing capital raises, we're still seeing growth here, adding 8.5 million subscribers for the quarter. That's pretty fantastic. To kind of give you, we'll see on how Disney does. So Disney earnings is coming up as well in the next coming weeks, and seeing how much their growth has gone as well. Again, not saying that it's apples and bananas, or apples and apples, or oranges and oranges, or pears and pears, or watermelons and watermelons, but that we're looking for this to kind of compare on the growth to debt ratios here. With Netflix here on the chart here, it has gone up quite a bit here as well. With that huge jump like we just talked about, it hit that previous range that we saw, some overhead resistance at $575. It closed down from that this week. Again, we talked about this on the live stream this week as well. This can come back down to 550, even back down to 530 to touch it, maybe give it a little kiss, and then we bounce higher if that true bear case is in fact. Again, I'm a little bit of sus, as the cool kids would say, on this particular move, because again, it ran up right into resistance that we previously saw, and it needs to break out above that. Again, we're seeing that kind of drag off with the RS line volumes on oscillator as well. So be super mindful of that. Again, if it does want to break out, we're looking for trying to break 600. That's going to be the next target really for Netflix. Is it $600 going to be next, or 550? Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball here, but we do have some nice support here around 550 potentially if we do get some consolidation in the next week or so. Again, we have earnings seasons kicking off. We have a ginormous day coming out on Wednesday with Tesla, Facebook, BA, and Microsoft. No, not Microsoft. I forget what's reporting on that day. It's just a lot. It's like Tesla, Starbucks. It's an insane amount of people. Next one is API. Let's go to that one. API rallied 18% on Wednesday after the surge in COVID announcements within the UK and related potential lockdown in northern China. And China is a key, API is a key enabler of online education, which accounts for roughly 25% of its revenue. API is based on real-time communications and enabling live video and voice engagement to scale. So really much just a potential lockdown play here again with the spike in the virus here. With that large move higher, we are kind of falling into the previous resistance as well to the upside here, really falling in around that 47 to 47.50 price targets here, kind of bouncing off that. Even though this thing has gone up to the high of 56. This thing is still looking for on the weekly chart. It's somewhat of a newer stock as well, because again, this thing wasn't even publicly traded whenever the low of March happened. Again, this started trading in the 7, so it looks like the May-June timeframe it started trading. Basically, typical IPO, jumps higher, crashes, pops back higher, and then just middles around here for a little bit, potentially trying to break out of this very strong resistance up here at 47.50. With that being said, we do have some key downward support, basically around 38 to around $37 at these levels here. If again, we do get a mass amount of lockdowns potentially. Again, this is more of a play on UK and China stuff rather than just doing US stuff. I think most US people would just be adopting and just adding Zoom as one of their main contributors to that. Next one is going to be BASE. So BASE is not a ticker symbol that we can look up. Again, BASE is a Japanese internet stock. Again, this is very much like a Shopify, they said. So Shopify, of course, is the BASE Inc. is basically the Japanese company. It enables business and consumers to launch an online store within minutes. So sounds very similar, right? So let's just look at Shop. It's basically its competitor. Of course, this thing has been somewhat kind of rallying up here, still holding above the 21 to 34 EMA. Setting up for a squeeze here. Again, first little dot here with earnings on the horizon potentially in the mid of February here. Again, Shop was $300 during the low of the pandemic, and now it got up to nearly $1,300. Okay, that's pretty insane. $1,000 move in this stock. With this being said, could this run higher? 100%. This is an enabling. Ark Investment loves this stock. They own quite a bit of it in multiple funds or their ETFs. This thing on the long-term chart looks beautiful. This is the reason why I love looking at the weekly chart. Coming down to around that short-term support around 1150, basically following the 8 EMA here, which kind of falls into the 21 EMA here, or the 34 EMA here on the 21 and 34 on the daily chart. But we do have some pretty strong support coming in around 1122, 1120, which was a previous base here. If we just draw a line here, I can show you at or below. Look at that. It was those previous resistance on the upward movement are now previously support to the downside. So 11,000, 1113, 1115 would be the potential short-term support to that. Again, key levels to try to break out is going to be that 1285 to potentially even $1,300 there for the old shop. So nice little catalyst there. Second to last is going to be Yaka. I'm not probably mispronounced that. This is again a local brokerage firm in China gave it a buy rating, reinforcing the impact of initial buy rating for the whole week. Leading it's basically Yakan is a leading independent payments platform in China. I don't know what that actually means, but it sounds pretty fantastic. So we're going to be just looking at Square and PayPal for these kind of things. So Square kind of pulled back again. I think it was probably due to their large exposure of Bitcoin and cryptos with that pretty massive pullback that we've seen in the last coming days within the Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the cryptos overall. With that being said, we do have some initial strong support around 215. That's where the 50-day lies. It did close below the 21 EMA, but it did also for the day stay above the 34. So it stayed between the 21 and 34 EMAs on the daily chart. That's still fine. It is a little bit consolidating here. We are setting up for a squeeze. The volume zone oscillators it's in negative territory currently, but if we can get that little pop higher, we could easily see this move up back to 235 to 240 in the initial short term. Of course, longer term target is still trying to break above that 250 range. And the next one is the old PayPal. This one is looking substantially better than Square. Is again making an all-time high on Friday instead of just kind of shrinking and going below the 21 and 34. Again, mostly tied probably to Square's Bitcoin overall position, even though PayPal has Bitcoin as well. Anyways, breaking to a key target that we talked about is $250 here. Again, with earnings on the horizon as well, going out to the first week of February here, this thing looks super strong. We had a squeeze fire long here. 2 days into the squeeze, RSI and volume zone oscillator are looking to potentially peak higher here. If we can stay above 250, some near dated targets could be easily reached by the 275 to 280. With earnings, again, we can look at the expected moves for earnings. They're looking for a $23 move for that week, so the first week of February. So we could see some substantial movement there. Last but not least is PLTR. This one has been gangbusters this week here. Look at this beautiful green candle here, closing up 25% for Friday, almost making it a brand new high. And the folks at Wall Street Bets are loving it. Ark commentaries for this one is PLTR shares climbed 25% on Friday, perhaps in response to an update of its demo day scheduled the 26th. On their events will show and demonstrate the latest versions of all their software platforms. So PLTR, this is the stock that was really much loved by Wall Street Bets. Basically, a lot of folks, again, if you were in the Discord, I know Alpaca, I have to thank you again for getting me into this stock. We bought in like at $9 and rode it all the way up here. It's still holding the shares. Even Ark bought at these lows down here around $8 or $9. With this huge move higher, again, this is like what we're talking about, a FOMO trade. It was holding that 5 and 8 moving averages all the way up. Instead of coming and crashing down and potentially closing below that $20 price target, again, that's what Citron, a very infamous short report, was saying, that it's going to be going below 20. You saw it did come out, it did hit that 20, but then it came right back with strong vengeance. A lot more people buying the dip, and now it's just kind of like trading sideways, ping-ponging around between $28 and $24. Finally seeing that break here, that we had some strong resistance at 28, and this thing just took off with the next target really being $33. And with the potential movement into their demo day, we could easily see $35 to $40 if that momentum wants to continue. Because again, a lot of people this is going to be on their radar come Monday, and depending on what the short interest was, we could see a short squeeze in this as well, potentially, if those shares are not held. Because this is a pretty substantial move in a stock of 25% in a very short period of time. Again, you can really see that reflection on the RSI and the volume zone oscillator here, with large volume coming in here. So could see maybe hit that 33.5, $33.50 level and kind of come back to 28. But this thing is looking pretty aggressive here. Just be ready for any kind of a bumpy ride, especially with the larger investors really just kind of want to scoff at the Wall Street bet, folks. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please check out those affiliate links. Definitely helps support the channel, and I can grow and I can buy new cameras and all kind of fantastic stuff to make this presentation just a little bit better and more viewable. I won't be able to fix this. I'm not going to get plastic surgery to fix that if you give me money for that. But anyways, that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out the door, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.